Bedford Prison, as each and all of you know by now, is a special place. I love it. I loved it. I loved it when I was there. I loved it now I'm not there. Now I'm not there. I wish I could go back and do all my sentence all over again. There. Not. Not. No way in hell would that ever happen. That is one of the dirtiest, stankiest, crankiest places I've ever been. Um, Again, ex-criminal, I committed a crime, I deserve to do the time, but I'm just saying, some places are worse than others, aren't they? Yeah, it goes without saying, doesn't it? They're not all equally as good or as bad, and they're usually bad. You know, and even in the worst places, you're gonna have a laugh. People have a laugh. People, you adapt. You adapt very quick to prison. I adapted very quick to prison. So, you know, I didn't mope around. Maybe that's because I didn't have enough on road to feel like I was missing. But it is what it is. I didn't mope around. As soon as I got nicked, I sort of thought, yeah, here we go. It is what it is. And I adjusted to it pretty quick. But, you know, places like Pentonville, Scrubs, Bedford, they're dociles, mate. And, yeah. But even in those places, you have a laugh. It's not like I'm walking around all day with, on the exercise yard, crisp packets blowing in my face. You know what I mean? An old sandwich cling film wrapper with all the butter. Oh, back to walking down with my head down. There's a lot. Do you know what? There's a lot of walking around depressed on the exercise yard, but there it is, laughs. And Bedford Prison, is up there. Probably is what did I say when I did that video? The worst prisons I've ever been. Pentonville was number one, and it is number one. But Bedford was number two or three between that and Scrubs. But for nastiness, for dirtiness, it was number one, as confirmed by what I found out when I was looking it up today. Yeah, we didn't get kit changed for 6 months. So hell, I've gone on about that a few times. It's not like I'm bitter about that. I didn't get a kit change. We didn't get a kit change. The whole wing didn't get a kit change for months and months and months. And then I got shipped out, and just after I had a big riot. The riot happened in 2016. Over £1 million worth of damage happened, yeah, and I got shipped out just before that. And no wonder. When I was there, screws basically unlocked your door and knocked you back up again. That was what they did. No kit change. Showers were terrible. Spice like you would not believe, and that was the worst I'd ever seen it. That was the first time I'd ever seen it like that, really, because I ended up in Bedford off road. Yeah, I come off road to Bedford, and I think before that, talking about spice, I'd been in Chelmsford, and there was a bit of spice. From what my memory serves, I can't remember ever seeing it before that. And then I went to Bedford. Oh my god! And literally the first moment I walked on that wing, me and my Cody, see someone I didn't even barely even know him, yeah, from Romford, right? A couple of geezers from Romford. They were in there for throwing a parcel over allegedly. I think they admitted it, but over at the Mount, chucking a parcel over, and they got 5 years each for it, or 5.5 each. A long time for chucking a parcel over, but that's what they got. And yeah, he's given me the naughtiest bit of spice I can ever remember having before or since. Mate, this was on another level. I've done a video about thinking I was a robot, one of the earliest videos I've ever done. This was off that night, and that's funny and all that. That it makes people laugh, yeah. Thinking I genuinely thought I was a robot on display. Man, I couldn't stop doing that, like mechanical, like. And it is funny, but I could have done some damage that night, especially to myself, mate. I could have ended up with an M charge and probably busted it, because people have smoked it in there and done that to their cellmate and got off of it. So they like, I've smoked it. I've done a story about the case. Literally, that literally happened, and the geezer got away with it because he said he didn't know it was a joint in the ashtray, picked it up and smoked it. Yeah, so I could have done serious damage that night with that, yeah. So, and that was everywhere. They used to call it man down, and there would be people going down all the time. It was on Bedford that I used to see that geezer do the £50 challenge, where people get like 50 quid's worth of spice, put it in one thing, and which is about a gram, roughly half a gram or whatever, and put it in one joint. And listen, even if you give it to someone that smokes it all the time and that can handle it, you'd have one pull and be absolutely annihilated. You and be fucked and walk off and be fucked for the rest of the social. And people did every single day. People used to try and do this challenge. And the thing was, if you did it, you'd get another one for free. You get given it and you could go and smoke it at your leisure. No one ever did that. And people used to have, go down and had to be given the, and it was the same geezer every single day. And if he's getting that means he's asked, what do we call it? You know what I mean? Mate, every single day the same geezer was doing it, and that's sad, man. I mean, what's gone wrong in his life that's making him want to do that every single day? And he knows is he dying? Yeah, of course he is. And and anywhere I've been since, I've never seen anything like it. That wing, what was it, A wing or something? Yeah. A report got done that said many prisoners felt unsafe there. Yeah, I never felt that there. I never really felt that there. And I mean, I got into some madness there. I got into all sorts of madness there. But it wasn't really the jail that. Where do you really feel unsafe anyway? There's going to be moments where you might feel scared or something. Oh, mate, I'm going to get weighed in. But I might just say it might just be like the word in there. I'm looking at unsafe and thinking, oh, what unsafe? But many prisoners say they felt unsafe. It also depends who you got around you, doesn't it? At that time, you could be on a wing with even the crappiest wing. You can have your mates with you, and who you're beefing with, and all that. Yeah, but overall, my experience when I think of that jail, no kit change, no kit change, mate. That's the. Right, so the prisoners rioted in 2016. Yeah, that was just after I left. So I'm there, 2015? Just like maybe even beginning of 2016 or whatever. But I left just before this riot. The reasons that were given for the riot afterwards were 24-hour day lockup, which has always been the case in my eyes. I don't get why that's. Well, it's always used as an excuse. It's always been an issue, and it's not nice being in there all day long. But it has always been an issue. And no toilet paper. That'll make you riot. That's annoying. When they don't have it. I've been in jails where they're a stickler for the rules. Where you've got to bring in your toilet, your tube, your empty tube, so they give you another one. And I'm thinking of Stockton, mate. The wing I was on, the drug-free wing. They were like sticklers for that. If you didn't have it, you weren't getting it. You had to like nick it out of the office, mate. It was ridiculous. But when you see like no toilet paper, yeah, what does that tell you? Dirty, yeah, and it matches what I say about the no kit change as well, doesn't it? Yeah, no toilet paper, no kit change. What else ain't they giving them? They ain't got no toilet paper. I just think they've got. If they haven't got toilet paper, toilet roll, and that would come with what would get delivered at the same time: toothpaste, soap, shampoo. Yeah, not every prisoner can afford even a quid for their own shampoo. Like Radox, £1 or 1.9, whatever it is. Not everyone can afford that. So some people with literally nothing. So they'll get given a shampoo sachets and a soap. But if the toilet roll's not coming in, what else? Like, you can guarantee the soap ain't come, the shampoo, the toothpaste, roll-ons, whatever else ain't come, cleaning stuff, scourers, washing up liquid, all that would come with that, and if that ain't come, why ain't there, like, it's just a weird thing just to be missing out solely, innit? Toilet paper. And if you're gonna miss it out once, big deal. If it's happening repeatedly, that means, like, I would say it's just me. It's only me saying it. There's no proof of it. I would say there's other stuff gone. You know, there's other stuff missing. That would get to you after a while. Imagine you can't even wash up. You can't even clean your dirty cell. You go into a cell and there's all blood, spit up the walls, bogies up the walls, snot up the walls, lime scale down the toilet that's about that thick, shit all around the toilet seat or whatever, and you can't even clean it because there's no toilet, there's no cleaning equipment. And I would guess, like I said, if there's no toilet paper, there's all sorts of stuff missing as well. I've seen footage online of the riot. It's online. You can YouTube it probably. Definitely Google it. Like I said, they caused £1 million worth of damage. I saw a geezer after I left there. I ended up in. I went there, then I went Scrubs, and I ended up in Chelmsford. I had a case in Chelmsford, so that's where I ended up doing my last bit. And I see one of the geezers that was in Bedford with me at the same time, and he was there during the riot. Walking around the exercise yard with him. He's telling me, he went, at one point, it sounded like the Mufti Squad, what they call it, the Tornado Squad or whatever it is. Right, we're coming onto the ring, like marching onto the ring, and they do the thing to, like, intimidate and all that, and bang the shields to let people wear it, and it's intimidating, and it is intimidating if, like, you're the person they're coming for. He said he's on the wing, and that's happened, yeah. Like, don't forget, this was like hundreds of prisoners rioting, right? So, like, I wasn't there, but it was more than one wing. I'm sure of it, because he wasn't on my wing, this fella I'm talking about, and I know it kicked off on the wing I was on. So this is two separate wings we're on about. Coming on, so like people thinking, right, here we go, and there's people ain't banging up or nothing like that. People getting ready to go for it, and prisoners, isn't it? They've got into the room. He took his helmet off, and his pal like laughing his head off. There's photos of that on YouTube, like of people standing there. Not saying that one's his pal one with a photo, because they was all doing. They was passing the hats around and stuff. So they even got into there and got the riot equipment. They weren't messing around. The riot lasted 6 hours, involving hundreds of prisoners. Like I said, the IMB, the Independent Monitoring Board, said Bedford was turned into a sad picture of devastation. Yeah, it was like that when I was there, man. In 2019, inspectors found a segregated prisoner. This was after they arrived there to do an inspection. This is disgusting, actually, as well. In 2019, inspectors found a segregated prisoner killing a number of rats in his cell. What? A number? Not one. Killing a number. That's what the inspectors like see. What? I've got to say, it wasn't as bad. So that's 2009. That's 3 years later. It wasn't as bad as that when I was there for the rats. You saw them. But Scrubs was the worst of rats. By far. By far, man. There was a certain part, though. There's one of the exercise yards that I used to walk past after I finished kitchens. And it'd be night time. They'd be everywhere. All, like, oh. I don't know, you could be on the ones and look out your window on that wing, whatever wing I used to walk past, and see them. They were all over the exercise, man. Oh, it's disgusting. They found the officers' control of the jail tenuous. That's what the officers called it, tenuous. So hanging on by a thread. Inspectors also saw inmates smoking drugs. They saw signs put up outside of the wings that said, and there was a picture of the signs, "Please ensure doors remain shut to prevent rats entering the wing." Yeah, I don't think I would want to be spending any time in this jail. Saying that, I was in the scrubs and they got terrible rat problem, mate. I've done a whole video about I was looking out my window in the scrubs, and I was up on the whatever it was. I wasn't on the ones. I'm watching people chuck their food out the windows. I've said that a million times. People like chuck their food out the windows. They don't want it sitting in their cell all night in the bin. So people usually either chuck it in the sink or out the window. A half-eaten burger was out the window. I'm watching a rat eat this burger. This rat was, and I'm not lying, it was like that. There was a cat behind the rat. Sounds like a child's rhyme, doesn't it? I'm learning to write. Cat in the hat, sat on the mat. Right, this cat was eating a burger, and the cat was waiting behind the rat. He could have jumped on his back and ate it. Well, it couldn't have ate it. It was the size of a Jack Russell, but he could have jumped on his back and done, like, tried to kill it or whatever. Waited his turn, waited for the rat to get his fill of the burger, scuttle off. Then the cat come in. Right, and there was loads of wild cats in the scrubs as well, yeah, that were brought there for the rat problem. And the rats were so big, and the food was so plentiful that if you looked out your window, you might even see a rat and a cat just bopping together, mate, or sharing a burger. It was ridiculous. then like that's the same food that we're eating as well, mate. I worked in those kitchens. Imagine when the lights go off at night. What comes out of there? What nastiness comes out of the walls, mate? Oh. Yeah, the sign said, "Please remain shut to prevent rats entering the wing." The prison was placed in special measures in May of 2019. That means it's a failing jail, basically, and I think it was put in special measures a couple of times. I think that could be wrong. Rats, pigeons, and cockroaches were found to be everywhere. Worst cockroach infestations I see was the Ville, mate. Not in every cell, but in the bad cells, the ones that I was in, turn the lights off and the floors look like they're swimming, mate. Look like waves. Like, mate, I feel like you want to put your bed in like cups of water. Stop them climbing up your thing at night. Mate. Yeah, and the thing is, I don't even like cockroaches. Wouldn't even be the worst thing for me. Rats, mate. Oh, imagine leaving your window open at night and opening your eyes, being nice and asleep, and just seeing the end of a big old fat pink towel just going out of the window. It's already been in your cell. Don't know what it's done. Just crawled over your face, made love to your hair, just crawled out of the window. Oh, mate, I'd die. 5 prisoners killed themselves between 2017 and 2019, unfortunately. 5 sounds like a pretty light. There's a lot of jails with a lot worse numbers. It's a small jail though. I think the maximum is like 300 people or something. Peter Clark, the chief inspector, said the violence was largely fueled by drugs, and the prisoners, many of them living in fear, were confined for unacceptable lengths of time in cells that were too often infested with vermin, dirty, and unfit to be occupied. Like I said, imagine it was bad when I was there in 15, 16. But how quick this has turned into a tip. Like in 3 years, just with rats everywhere, and I can imagine people wiping their ass with their own socks and launching them out the window and stuff like that, mate. This is no toilet roll. I mean, where are the people still going to the toilet? Mate, filth. He also said the prison has continued on a seemingly inexorable decline. It used to have a good reputation as a good local prison, and the collapsing standards is as sad as it is inexcusable. I mean, a good reputation. People have always said it's a. Why are you saying that? I can imagine before when it was just kept to single cells, because all them cells are meant to be single. I'm presuming. I can imagine it was a quiet little easy nick back in the day. How quick it crumbled, mate, in 3 years, and it was like I said, it was terrible when I was there. Um, for it to get worse in 3 years, you'd think the only way it could get worse is if the front doors fell off and everyone ran out. Like for them, you know what I mean? 39% of inmates are locked in a cell during working hours. I would have said it was more than that in 3 years prior. Again, this has always been a problem for me. 23-hour by day bang up. When's it not been that in these BCAT locals? When's it not been that? I don't understand when it was meant to have been. We was all out there being just allowed to roam free. It's never happened. It's never been like that. This is sad. An amputee prisoner in a wheelchair was only able to have 5 showers in a year because he, well, basically couldn't get into the shower. That's terrible if that's true, because whose fault is that really? It's on the screws, isn't it? If you can't help a geezer with no legs get into the shower, and why would you not want to help him as well? Why would a prisoner not want to help him in this? That's sort of on everyone. The inspectors said toilets do not flush, cells were damaged, and communal areas were dark and dirty. That's pick a jail, mate. That sounds like any jail I've ever been in. Inspectors said discipline is poor. Yeah, that's an understatement. Prisoners were allowed. This is what the inspectors saw. Prisoners were allowed to smoke openly, unchallenged. There's obviously a smoking ban in prisons. It come in roughly about them times, ish. The smell of cannabis and other substances spread across entire wings. Yes, when I say people were smoking unchallenged, I'm talking about just smoking in general, just walking around smoking tobacco. But weed stinks, and when it's everywhere in the jail, that's how you know you're in for a good time. To be fair, you're walking around ringing. Oof. Pepe Le Pew, just like your feet just float off, like following it. Ooh. Got anything harder? Got any spice? God, that's what I would have said, mate. Like proper dirtbag nitty, mate. Got any spice? Don't even want weed. Don't touch me. Oh, mate, my back is starting to hurt, and I just keep using this crap table that moves, mate. My back is really hurting. Right, so yeah. The smell of cannabis and other substances spread across the. What the other substances to me would be spice. Maybe a bit of B. That's the odd cell. When you walk past the odd cell, you know what cell you're walking past. You know what time it is. You're probably heading there for that anyway. And you know the 5 man that'll be in there as well, all huddled round. You know exactly what it'll be. Can't make you smell right, mate. Oi, oi. He's your best mate. One prisoner told the inspectors, if it's just weed you could smell, then it's a good day. And I was joking a minute ago, by the way. Yeah, white's bad. All drugs are bad. Yeah. If it's just weed you can smell, then it's a good day. Yeah, in Bedford, yeah, 100%. Because that's all you smell is weed and spice. And spice is very, very, as it smells like, people say it smells like incense. I don't get that. Like, it smells like bleach, cat piss, BO, like, it doesn't smell like Father Ted is walking up and down the landing, like, you know what I mean? It's not what it smells like. 77% of staff had only worked there a year or less. So that's not very good when you're trying to control a jail, is it? And you can guarantee like the 20% that's left don't want to be there, are not trying, are sick of it, might not, and might even be fighting for like all the things that would make it better, but they know it's not happening, so they've quit. And who bears the brunt of that? Prisoners. That's quite a big statistic, isn't it? 77% of staff had only worked there a year or less, and considering what's happened in the last 2 years, and you've got a load of people that ain't even worked there for 10 minutes, they're trying to control things. Yeah, mayhem. The jail was called fundamentally unsafe. Use of force was too high from staff to prisoners. I will say though, to keep it fair, that assaults on prisoners and staff is like the highest, or one of the highest in the country, or it was. But the use of force though as well against the prisoners. When you read that statistic comes into it, because a load of new people on the wing walking around, seeing a load of zombies walking around, like hanging off the landings, like don't know what that is, stinking of weeds, that other stuff that they probably think is going to kill them, like when they smell it. They don't know. They're scared. They're worried. They think it's going to happen. No wonder they use excessive force, because people do, don't they? When they're scared, they go over the top. Half of the prisoners that were asked said it was easy to get drugs in jail. The other half presumably knew not to snitch and just say, yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about. yeah, we can get it, it's well easy. They're the ones that don't take it. The other half that said no, there's nothing. I don't know. They're the ones that take it and trying to keep it on download. What's this shut up? I've never understood that. Do you know when you get the things that come through your door, and if you're in jail, right, you get a survey that says, do you feel safe in this jail? If not, why not? And all that. Yeah, just rip it up and put it in the bin. They only want it for snitching purposes, innit? So they can say, oh look, this wing, like they just want info. And I've never understood the people that fill them out. What are they getting out of that? You get nothing good for yourself out of it, and they say it's anonymous as well. So, yeah. Never understood the people that come out at dinner time with the survey. Yeah, I'll be filling this in over lunch. I was watching Loose Women. Watching Karen Giffen give her opinion, mate. No. A fifth of the inmates said they developed a drug problem on the inside. In there, I can believe it. We're only talking about Bedford, so yeah, 100% I can believe that. It wouldn't be far-fetched in any jail. I don't think there's ever been a time when that would have been far-fetched. But in Bedford, in these times, 100%. You've got to remember, all that comes, you're living in filth, you're living in squalor, you're living with rats running up in your cell, you're living with pigeons and cockroaches, you're living with not getting out your cell, you're living with no kit change, you're living with no toilet roll, you're probably living with a load of other stuff that's missing all the time. A load of them are feeling unsafe, and there's gear everywhere. Why wouldn't you take it to get an a change, to forget where you are? Why wouldn't you take it? Really? Why would you? If you haven't got a drug problem, you could fully understand why someone would, wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? You're living with all this filth, mate. It's an unnatural circumstance anyway, isn't it? Yeah, prison, like people ain't made to be put in a cage like a zoo. Again, the laws are, if you get caught, you go away. So I'm not moaning about that. I'm just saying it's an unnatural thing, isn't it? And it's even more unnatural to wipe your ass with your hand or whatever. During the inspection, the 317 capacity jail was holding 420, and even that sounds under to me. It's obviously not. It's obviously not. It's obviously right, but I would have just thought that saying that though, there's a lot of singles there. A lot of people just refuse. It's one of those. It's one of those jails as well. Back in these times, when I was there, anyway, only when I was there, but it's one you could say, yeah, I'm a single, and the screws would just, yeah, all right, yeah. When they try and put someone in your cell, you go, no, no, oh, okay, you getting shipped out. No, no, I'm not. You got to go court. No, I've done all that there. So that's one of them ones. And some jails won't have it and go, what? Don't be silly, but clearly. And if they get away with it, I think that 317 would be 600 and whatever. Yeah, considering that problems that are actually there and happening, documented problems, it's not actually a lot of people. 420. It's a tiny jail. It's a tiny jail. It just shows how badly it's actually run, though, doesn't it? Mr. Clark added, Bedford fulfills none of the basic objectives of imprisonment. The lack of credible plans to address the dangerous shortcomings was inexplicable given the steady decline over many years. Doesn't fulfill any of its objectives. Doesn't fulfill any of them. If I owned a shoe factory that didn't fulfill its objectives to make shoes, then it wouldn't be a shoe factory, would it? And it would probably be closed down if it was a shoe factory that didn't make shoes. You know what I mean? Doesn't fulfill any of its objectives. Why don't they shut these failing jails down? And a lot of them do, and it's special measures, this, that. Why don't they just shut them down? That's why, innit? That's why. Francis Cook, who's that? The chief executive of the Howard League for Penal Reform, is a charity, said measures have been in place for 2 years and still this overburdened, under-resourced, rat-infested jail is being forced to look after more men than it is designed to hold. That's all jails. Whenever I've been banged up. Always. Like I said, I didn't see all the rats that they did. I just can't get over that. Our in 3 years it's just gone into an absolute bin, mate. And it was like that anyway. But well, that's where the saying comes from. It breed like rats. Oh, they done an inspection. When did they do an inspection? To keep it fair, they done another one this year. And improvements have been made. Improvements have been made, although conditions were found to still be unacceptable. Imagine how bad they was before. If now they're better, they're still unacceptable. They're still unacceptable, and they've had all these years to fix it. You know what I mean? But it's still unacceptable. It's a bit better. I wouldn't give them no praise. I wouldn't give them nothing. I say, what if it was me, which is not. You've had all these years, and it was that bad, and now it's that bad. It should be that bad. You know what I mean? It's like all you've done is, especially on A and B wings. That's where it's unacceptable. Support for prisoners with disabilities was poor. Still, this is like the latest one, right? This is coming from the jail that didn't help a geezer with no legs have a shower. Levels of violence still remain one of the highest in the country, or the highest. I've got, as it's the Bedford special, mate. I've got to send a shout out to matey, the unknown matey, the unknown geezer that escaped from there last week, mate. Cycled off on a bike. I got it a bit mixed up. They say he was heading to London, right? So he cycled from Bedford along the A1, and he got caught in Boreham Wood, yeah, en route to London, which is he's not far, like Hertfordshire, yeah. It's like you're on the border. He might have just been a big what's there? What's at Boreham Wood? He might have been a big fan of Big Brother. Might have wanted to go to Big Brother studios. You know what I mean? I hope he parcelled up before it. I bet he never got there, did he? Never made it to where he was going. Oh, mate, in that situation, if that was me, I would have rather have parcelled up and then got water, then had a drink of water. I guarantee, oh, mate, for example, and they're so vague about it in the papers and all that. It's like they don't know how he got away. That's blatantly it, because they're not saying, oh yeah, he done this, this, this. They just don't know, and you're not going to tell them, are you? He could go back there. You're not going to say, are you? How did you get out? I don't know. Just blacked out, and there I was. Hey. This just shows how stupid the staff are there, right? One murderer, on the day he was due in court for sentencing, told staff that he was told in court he didn't have to be there and he could do it by video link. So he was found guilty in court, and the judge has said, "I'm going to come back you come back at this date, and I'll sentence you." He was going to get life, wasn't he? It's an M charge. He got back there, and they went, "When you got to go next?" He went, "No, it's video link." And without any proof, they just signed it off. So yeah, and they just signed it off. So like they're there on the day of sentencing. The judges got mad. The victim, it was his bird as well. So wrong 'un. So it was like all her family are there waiting so he could come up, and they probably want to read out their impact statements or whatever. And yeah, it turned up. And yeah, and it did. And I'm only reading what he said here. He was being held in Bedford because he wasn't safe in the other jail. That he was actually in because of what he did. So yeah, it doesn't sound very trustworthy anyway, innit? You'd think a screw would check. They didn't. A London-based firm of solicitors, Stuart Miller Solicitors, found in 2019 that Bedford is the dirtiest prison in the UK. It's not the sort of thing that I'm usually proud of being right about it, like a dirty jail, but it sort of just confirms what I said. Stuart Miller Solicitors, so they got a load of jails and based it on a load of things, and it come near the bottom on it, loads of things, you know, safety, this, that, but dirtiest, it run away with it. No kit change, 6 months, no toilet roll. It all goes to being filthy, rats, pigeons, cockroaches. Just as an FYI, number 2 is my number 1 worst jail, Pentonville. The Ville is second, and it's a rancid jail, mate. There's not many places I've ever been where I've turned the lights off and the floor looks like it's moving, coming out of the cracks, mate. Cockroaches. I never see that many rats there though. I never see that many rats. Scrubs. Oh, mate. Yeah, that's the stuff of nightmares. That's Stephen King style, mate. Bedford. I'm sure I see some there. Aylesbury was up there with the rats, but only because really I worked with the prison bins all the time, so I was outside all the time. Did it by choice. I wanted to be outside all the time, but I was empty out all the bins, and yeah, man. Every now and again, you'd have to deal with a rat jumping out of the black bags at you, but you expect that. But yeah, because of that, I've seen loads in Aylesbury, and I haven't seen loads in in the second most dirtiest Pentonville. I can't even remember seeing one. I must have somewhere. I see more vermin in Warren Hill, but we're on a farm there, aren't we? So yeah, they done it. Yeah, they should have just asked me. They should have just asked me about this thing. All the money they've spent on surveys and inspections. They could just come to me. I'll come to the exact same conclusions. Scrubs didn't even make the top 10, considering the rats that I see in there. Just for that alone, mate. Just for the rat problem, they brought in cats to eat the rats, and the rats were so big that the cats left them alone. And that didn't even make the top 10. In order to stop violence at the jail, a body scanner was brought in 2021 to catch more drugs and weapons. Well done. And I don't think I'm breaking no barriers here, revealing any secrets by saying, no, anyone that's ever been there for more than 10 minutes, staff included, staff prisoners included, will know that in order to stop gear coming over in that jail, they need to say, all right, then if anyone's caught with dental floss or fishing line in their cell, he's going to get 20 years. I tell you where you're going to stop it, mate, because it comes over like that, ding, at night, over the wall, and people chuck things out the window. Allegedly, or allegedly, of course. But everyone knows that anyway. Everyone knows that's what Bedford's. I could literally lean out of my cell window and touch the wall. Not really, but that's how close it was. It was ridiculous. You could have that geezer off Scary Movie with a dodgy arm. Take my strong hand. You can have him chucking them over, and they would make it to your window. It was ridiculous. Why do they do that? The thing is, the people that work in the jails, I'm presuming, would know that that body scanner thing is just for publicity, in it, because they'll know how it's all coming in. So what's the point? Like, what is the point? The body scanner, it's all just for make believe, isn't it? In my eyes, what do I know really? But it's all just for make believe. Why are you bringing in something when you know the problem? It's got nothing to do with that really, because that would insinuate that it's the visitors. What's the visitor bringing in? Like bringing in big old bladed articles and things like that. No. Are they bringing in what the? You know what I mean? That's coming over the wall or by a screw. Some prisoners don't get given their prescribed medication at the right time. I would say there's a problem in loads of jails, not just that one. Overall, you might be getting the picture that it's not a very lovely place to spend your time. You might want to book up a nicer, better holiday for the wife and kids. God, I wouldn't watch that. I don't wish jail on anyone. Not even my worst enemy. I don't. But I was Bedford. Oh, who would I wish to go there? You'd have to be a special wrong'un, mate. Because that is, yeah. Catching rats in your cell, numerous rats. It's the wording, isn't it? Because you could just skip over that. You could skip over the fact that they said numerous rats, because you could get in your head that you've missed out on numerous and just read rat. Because you'd probably be expecting them to say just one anyway. When they say numerous, killing numerous rats in his cell, mate. So he's down the block fighting them off. The screws just don't care, not moving him. Allegedly, of course. It's all allegedly, isn't it? If you enjoyed that, hit subscribe, and we'll chat again. Adios.